Need for Speed Heat, whilst maybe not the most recent installment in the series, I think is widely regarded as one of the best, if not the best, new generation Need for Speed. And so, I wanted to see if you're able to beat the entirety of the game using only the one car you're given at the start. The first thing you see when you launch the game is the EA logo, and upon seeing this, I start to reconsider whether I actually want to play the game or not. But I should probably very quickly go over the rules. So, the rules are that I can use the car that is chosen at the start of the game to complete any races that contribute to the progression of the story. There are some circumstances where we're forced into another car, but we'll deal with them when they come. Not only this, but I'm also doing this on the hardest difficulty in the game, and without using any auxiliary equipment. So, starting off, wait, that's not a car. After some guy loses his car and almost dies, we get the choice of choosing our character. As a tribute to the best racer I know, Tommy T, I'll be picking the one with the greenest outfit. Following that is when we get to choose our car. Now, fairly obviously, this is the most important decision in the entire run. Looking at the options we have in front of us, we have a 1965 Ford Mustang, a 1988 BMW E30 M3, a 1996 Nissan 180SX, and a 1967 Chevy Camaro SS. I'm going to be honest, straight away, I ruled out the muscle cars. Apologies to all the muscle car fans out there, but we need to keep in mind that I'm going to be using this car in every event we enter in and every terrain that we drive on. So, I ruled those out straight away. I needed a car that would perform in any environment I put it in, whether off-road or on-road, whether in the rain or whatever. And we all know that the muscle cars feel very boaty in these kind of games. This left me with both the M3 and the 180SX. In terms of customization, which we will be doing, the 180SX takes the cake. However, I leaned more towards the E30 M3 because of its more top speed orientated spec and its preference to racing over the 180SX. Plus, we all know you can never go wrong with German engineering. As soon as I got out of the garage, I realized that no matter what we picked, we're going to be painfully slow for the meantime. So I made sure to get to our first race as soon as possible to begin getting some money so we can upgrade our car. Of course, your boy wins his first race, and soon after we get a recommendation to install a nitrous kit in our car.
Hello? They don't care.
Before we get our NOS, we gotta prove ourselves. Anna leads us to the closest race where we can make our name for ourselves, and on the way, we run into Kenny.
Hope you get a good shot of my rear end.
What?
We finish the race in first place and have our first introduction with...
Check it out. You see anything you like?
All of them. Think they'll be up for a race?
Nice try. You got a little way to go before they give you a shot.
Who's they?
The league.
On my first night, I decided to make use of the time and get in a couple more races to increase my rep. We went back to the garage and waited for the next morning. Finally, I get my nitrous and we get introduced to the variety of upgrades we can do to our car. Warranted, we have the right money and rep. The day and night system in the game works as follows. In order to upgrade your car, you need both the required rep level and the required funds. Racing in the day will get you the money you need, and racing in the night allows you to level up your rep, leading to better upgrades and better cars. But for us, just upgrades. So with that in mind, I immediately went back out into another night cycle and proved myself in a few more races. And ran into the real reason why the hardest difficulty in the game is actually pretty hard in this game. The races are not the concern, it's the cops. Unintentionally, I found myself at heat level 3, surrounded by cops, and admittedly, I got taken out. There is a real consequence to getting taken out in this game. Not only do you lose almost all the rep you gained that night, but your bank account gets drained. That is a problem. This is when I started to realise being on the hardest difficulty wasn't a problem for winning the races, but it was a problem for surviving the cops. They are actually brutal on the harder difficulties, to the point it's worthwhile avoiding them completely. We move past our arrest and link up with Dex, who most importantly drives the Skyline, but also shows us to our next race. After this race was my first introduction to a stale period. These occur a few times throughout the game, and there's nothing really consequential happening in the story until you upgrade your car. And as I'd mentioned earlier, upgrading your car requires you to do both races at day and night. So within these periods, they are good for the game, but they're not too good for content. So I'll be brushing over these periods as they come and go, just to make the viewing experience as smooth as possible. Rest assured, every single race was completed within our M3. We link up again with Dex, who shares some details about Lucas, but more importantly, mentions that if we win both this and the next race, then there's a suspension kit waiting for us. We easily win the first, and before we take on the second, Anna invites us to another race involving Kenny and a new face, Daryl. The race didn't cause too much of an issue, but straight afterwards, we run into...
Dipshit.
We were just here.
What you here?
We run things back with Dex one more time, complete the second race he wanted us to do, and receive the suspension kit that he promised us. Before getting back to the garage, we meet up with Wayne,
Oh, little Wayne, he's just too good.
get a few drifting lessons, and whilst the focus of this run will be on the campaign, it's good to get some driver story missions out of the way to build up our network. We get back to the garage, install the kit Dex gave us, and recalibrate for the time being. After waiting for the heat to die down, I went back out into the night, got up to heat level 4, and almost doubled my level, opening the way for some big upgrade opportunities, leading us onto the next race against Nari. This is a big one. Winning this race leaves a very good impression for us to be able to get into the league. Unfortunately, this race didn't go exactly as I'd wanted. We won, but
Early lead! Yay, Wayne! I'm right where I wanna be! Hey! Might wanna check that smoke coming out of your tailpipe.
after dealing with
Dipshit.
both Anna and I enter into a very important race. However, the race is abandoned halfway through due to... After we get back, the two siblings have a sibling moment.
You had no right to do this, Anna. No right.
I'll leave.
No.
And as the heat dies down, we go back out and are requested to pick up a grill for the garage. In order to get this grill, we need to complete the mission by the docks. After speaking to Odell, the race begins and causes one problem. This race puts us in a completely different car. Now, look, we didn't swap cars. The game just gave us a new car to test drive. And look, I'll be honest, when we go to the garage, there is only one car in there. So how could I have changed cars if I only possess one car? Okay, I'm on thin ice. But we moved past that race, get introduced to this lady, and try drifting. Although I'll just embarrass myself. I did try to go back out at night to get some extra rep and got my ass whooped. Like, these cops are crazy. Luckily, they didn't take my whole bank this time, but they still took 70 grand. So, after being busted twice now, I was starting to see the downsides of doing this challenge. Initially, I thought this challenge wouldn't be too bad, rather something fun to try it out, but I had to go back to the drawing board. I quickly found out about the oval race, which I grinded out for a while, and my top priority was getting my confidence back up after being embarrassed twice.
Embarrassing!
After a few oval races, I did try my luck at a time trial. Couldn't have been that bad. Oh! I actually still win. So, with the cash I gained from those races, I upgraded my car as much as my rep allowed me to, but more importantly, straight afterwards, I tried out my car is, but got G-checked and realised I ain't got any bike riz, so I failed. That's also 2 videos in a row where I've mentioned riz, so we'll see how long I can keep that up. We're investigating some sus actions by the cop and trailed them for a while. Not much happens until this cop just got into an F40. What the fuck? We find out the cops have been dealing the cars that they've taken off of the races that they catch. Luckily, they didn't take mine, even after busting me twice. I don't think they want it. Otherwise, I'd literally be fucked. This is actually a really important plot point and gives us the leverage to be able to take the fight to the cops. And we gotta make sure that the cops do not find out that we know this. So much so, this cop just had enough and said fuck it. The good thing is now, because our car looks so cool, it goes equally as fast. So these cops aren't too much of an issue for us now, giving us the time we need to be able to take the cops down in the city once and for all. Race after race, after race, after race, we demolish our competition. I even picked up a nice part from a heat race. I was finally able to confidently race without the worry of being busted. Even at heat levels 4 and almost 5. After a successful night, I went back to the garage and continued on to our next story mission. In this mission, we are crashing a massive PR event alongside Manta and Haley.
We're gonna crash the party, get their attention, drag all those cameras along to the chop shop, and make some headlines.
But we got ambushed by the cops. Thankfully, we had no difficulty losing them because of our upgrades, but Lucas wasn't answering his phone, so we made our way back to the garage to check on Lucas.
Shit, no. Hey, are you okay? Háblame.
Get out.
Vámonos.
We absolutely demolished the lieutenant and get the entire police force hunting us down. We needed to get to the closest warehouse as soon as possible because our usual spot was compromised. The way things are looking right now, the challenge is actually becoming pretty achievable. As it stands, we need to hack into the laptop, throw a call over to Roshni, she does her thing, and gives us a cryptic key to be able to access it, allowing us to be able to access all of the files that we'll use to take down the PD. As we go back to Anna and Lucas, Anna realises the cops are tracking the laptop and suggests a plan to hit the road with the laptop to do a drive-by hack and drive off. We finally find Anna and Lucas and basically become their bodyguard. I was starting to have regrets not choosing a beefier car, but just before we almost got taken out, Anna was able to complete the hack, chuck the laptop, and take down Mercer, the head of the corruption in the city. With With the corruption gone, our final task was to free all of the stolen cars so all the racers can get their illegal vehicles back so they can conduct more illegal races. Don't question it. We started off by attracting the attention of the cops, then led them down to the docks where the cars were stored and ran up. As I was saying, we were leading the cops down to the docks so we can reveal... Okay, are you serious? Mercer pops out in the infamous M3 GTR from Most Wanted 05, and we have to chase him down in our own M3. We take him down, take his car. I think we just failed the challenge. For those unaware, the game does usually end here, so we are pretty much completed in the run. However, I did use to my advantage earlier that the fact that the car we used in the off-road race wasn't a part of our garage, so we could get away with the fact that we don't own more than one car, so we could never have swapped. But when you take down Mercer in his M3, you automatically get his M3 GTR for free in your garage. Uh-oh.